Yolan True and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. And it's always exciting when we have a new arc, like we now have Deep Space Nine Retribution Part 1. And this is the last video on the new stuff that got in, but it's still a very important one because it needed some time to prepare this video because it required some testing as well. Because obviously with the introduction of the new Outposts, people are asking for crews. In this case, I will not give you a specific crew. I will talk about officers that work against those outposts, and people from very different ops levels are fighting those outposts, and so not everyone has every officer yet. And it's kind of fun anyway that the most officers I'm using, especially as bridge officers, are officers that are quite, let's say, old in this game. And you can see it here on one of my ships. Possible officers for the bridge are 5 of 11, and in this case her ability with the weaponry is irrelevant because she increases the shield deflection, armor, and dodge by 200%, total health, blah, blah, blah. There's no limitation about just against hostiles, against armadas, or whatever. And Scopely, at least in their announcement, made it quite clear that only, let's put it that way, general officers are working and not officers that are working against certain enemies. And that's the same, for example, with Charverneck. It's a bit of a combination that you know from my mission bosses. Charverneck, with her mind games, that she's increasing armor piercing of the ship by 1600%, is a general ability. Or with Khan, I had my doubts about Khan, but somebody from my alliance on the server with my new start account tested Khan, and it seems that he's working, although it says hit by a ship or defense platform, which made me a little bit suspicious about Khan and working, but he seems to be working as well. And quickly leave that and stay with the bridge crews. And another possible bridge crew that I'm using, that was the wrong button, is another old one, and that is Gorkon. With his quick victory, because he increases the chance of dealing a critical hit by 15% for the first 2 rounds, and also his hull breach ability is working here. Then we have Chang with the Dogs of War. If you deal a critical hit while you have a hull breach, there's a chance of delaying the next weapon attack of the enemy. That's what some people are using in the Veal, as far as I know already. And I'm using Kirk, for example, for his morale giving for the ship, because there are no prerequisites for that. So he has an 80% chance of putting morale on your own ship. And then, of course, we have the below deck officers. Here I have a few. I have the Doctor there just because of the loot. I have Nagadelvos there just because of the repair costs, because this ship is my Koskari that needs Sigma resources to be repaired, so I want to reduce that. But I also, for example, have Nurse Chapel here, because it says she works against non-Armada hostiles, so I was hoping that this is working. Or Beckett Mariner, with just increasing the ship's weapon damage by 140%. Of course, a lot of people would say the Choc does that better, and that's why we go to the other ship again. There I'm using the Choc, so I use the Choc on one ship with his ability to increase the ship's weapon damage by 700%, and on the other ship I'm just using Mariner. Then I have Pelia here for isolating defense, because this is just a general isolating defense without any prerequisites. I have Pick U here because he is repairing some damage from the previous round without any prerequisites. I have Odo here because he increases critical hit damage by 25% without any prerequisites of hostiles, enemies, players, whatever. He's the all-rounder here. I have Hammer, because he just increased the health of all the officers of the ship. And I've got Boimler here, for example, for the armor, shield deflection, and dodge, but you also can use a lot of other lower decks officers. Tandy should be working here as well, and Badgie, it depends which of these you have. And the same goes with the bridge crews. There are some alternatives. For example, if you don't have Charvenek, have a look for Kang or for Marcus. They are working the same. They don't have prerequisites for their abilities either. And below deck, you might also use Rutherford for your shield health. You might use Tandy for the hull health. You might even use Badgie for the armor penetration, shield penetration, accuracy, always depending on the availabilities of officers that you have. The only thing you have to watch out for is it shouldn't say it works against non-player hostiles, or shouldn't say it works against armadas or players or whatever. At least according to the announcement of Scopely, it shouldn't be limited to anything. So the all-round officers, like the lower decks for lower deck, or Odo and Charvenek, Khan, 5 of 11, Gorkon, Chang, and Kirk, and so on, they are all working without any prerequisites, and those are the officers that are working well. And these two crews that I have here on my ships are working well because I tested stuff. With the last outpost I did before the last one, my Koskari got destroyed, and my cube got damaged by 2/3. And I did the same level of outpost and the same kind of outpost then again with the crews I have just shown you, and my Koskari survived and my cube was barely damaged. So these crews are working fine for me. Of course, it's a short time of testing so far. The Ark is still quite new. The Outposts are still quite new. But that's what I'm going with at the moment, and they're working fine for me. So everybody who was trying to find out what they might use to test, that's what I made this video for. So you can have a look if you have any of these officers and if you can test them for yourself on your ships, because there's not always the general thing that works for everyone, because it also depends on your research, on your forbidden tech, on your artifacts, etc. So in the end, you will have to test it for yourself again. But for me, these officers are working fine. They made my ships much stronger against the retaliation hostiles in the outposts, and so I'm very happy with those at the moment. If you want to add something, please do write it in the comments below the video and on Discord. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.